Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today, this guest isn't new. 8 months ago, we got the opportunity to host Andy in Citadel, and he's back today with some great insights, updates, and everything Citadel. How you doing today, Andy?
Good, doing great, Tate. It's hard to believe that 8 months have passed since the
Yeah,
last time we talked.
no
Now
kidding.
that you said it, I'm like, it's even scary that 8 months flew by so quickly. But as everybody else says in crypto, time flies really quickly in this industry, especially if you're busy building things at the same time. There's just so much going on. It's hard to keep track of the time. But last 8 months, we have made so many great progresses on the hardware wallet development side and other things, other exciting products that we've been working on, which we have already recently announced. Yeah, looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, back then you released the Guardians of the Citadel, and so far you've sold through 1,267. Congratulations for that. That's a big accomplishment. And I know those prices were a little hefty for some standard mints, but in reality, the value you get from those mints and the NFTs is far more worth it in my eyes. I'd love to know how's the production been of the Citadel wallets? How's everything been going with that?
Yeah, first I wanted to touch on the NFT collection. We sold more than
Oh,
1,200
nice.
nights, minted 12 over 1,200 nights, like you mentioned, and that equates to more than 2,200 hardware wallets. So more than 2,200 hardware wallets have been pre-ordered by the community, and like you mentioned, these NFTs are not just a collectible. Even though we have put in a lot of time and effort to make sure they're very high quality character pieces,
Yeah.
true collectible pieces for the community that's supporting us. And that's another way we're trying to pay something back to the community. But the NFTs also come with the hardware wallets
Yep.
themselves, and that's where the higher price tag of those NFTs comes from. In terms of hardware wallet developments, back 8 months back, we had very early prototypes of the wallet. UI wasn't there. We're just displaying some text to show that the community that we're able to handle some transactions on Hedera network with the wallet, but the enclosure wasn't final. The electronics has gone through a few different iterations after that. Some minor fixes and changes were needed to perfect the electronics as well. And then the UI and software has seen probably the most progress and development during the last 8 months. And now we have prototypes that were already in beta testing stage. We're shipping them to some of the very active community members we have selected who are willing to do the beta testing and provide us very valuable feedback on how it feels to use the wallet. UI is very close to final, although there is some things we need to hone and perfect. And at the same time as we get some feedback from the community, and there has been already a lot of great feedback on how easy it is to interact with the UI, but at the same time there's few minor things that we need to still fix. In terms of behind the scenes, so the UI side is how you interface the user, but behind the scenes there is a lot of under the hood, I would say. There's a lot of firmware being developed that not only signs Hedera transactions, but the overall secure architecture, how everything is handled, how the data that comes into the wallet is processed and then sent to the secure element to sign those transactions. That has to be handled very carefully in a very secure way. And that's the part that the people don't see. What people see is just a sleek UI. You have a touch screen. You can easily interact with the device. I wish I could show that part of it
Sure.
to the community as well. But our software development team at Headstarter is just a world class team. These guys know what exactly they're doing, and they're experts at this kind of device development. We have made a lot of progress on the hardware development side. Hardware is basically complete.
Good to
On
hear.
the software side, we're very getting very close to the completion. I wish we could complete sooner, but things are getting delayed a little bit, understandably, because we have to get the security right on this device. We have taken care of other things as well. We can maybe dive into those things during the interview as well. But like manufacturing, selecting, finalizing the manufacturing partners, a lot of community members were concerned how the programming of the devices is going to be handled. And that was also top of mind for us. We don't want the programming of the devices to be handled outside of US. That's why we have partnered with a special US company that is ISO 27001 compliant, which is a
Nice.
security compliance for people who that
Yeah.
might mean
Yeah, the
anything,
tech guys.
or they can just Google and see. But chips are going to be pre-programmed in a secure environment even before being populated on the electronic boards. And that was another very important step to take care of, which from the community side, it's not really visible. But in terms of logistics, how we are going to manufacture, program, and also eventually be ready to scale to tens of thousands of devices, these are very important steps that we need to take to prepare for that. But so much has happened.
So much.
I'm really diving. I'm really happy
Of course.
where we stand. Yeah.
Based off of everything you've said regarding development, it leads into my next question. And referring back to the white paper, marked the date specifically, November 1st was the day that you're supposed to be going live with the release of the Citadel hardware wallets. Are you still on track
Yeah.
with that timeline? I know you mentioned there might be some small delays, but I was just curious about that specific timeline.
Yeah, there will be a few months delay, and we actually have our white paper version 2 coming out
That
next week.
help
Actually,
out a
next
lot.
week we'll have the white paper. Yeah. So the white paper will include more information about. There were a lot of questions in the V1, which we were still trying to figure out in terms of rewards and rev share for the night holders.
Sure.
There will be more answers in this V2, but also we have reevaluated the timelines that will take us to complete the developments, especially the software side developments of the wallet. And then, of course, we'll have to go through the secure audits, which will take probably a month or two, depending on how many auditing firms we work with. And then, of course, we need to manufacture up to 3,000 wallets to be ready to fulfill the pre orders that we have received. And on top of that, have some extra wallets to open it up to the public for people who really want to have the wallet but don't want to do anything with the NFTs.
NFTs, yeah.
Uh, there are those kinds of people too, which I completely understand. But after launching will open up to anybody's interested to purchase through traditional methods. But to answer your question, yes, there will be few months delay, and we'll be more clear about that in the updated V2 release in the next week, coming next week.
Things take time and it's not necessarily going to happen overnight. And it just shows you're a very hardworking man. And we see that in the space day over day. And you constantly provide updates regarding the production of Citadel wallets and everything else going in and on and in the background. And regardless of how fast you may want to go, the timeline might not necessarily allow that speed of production. And sometimes things might need to get pushed back a little longer. And that completely makes sense. And I assume that everybody who supports you will understand that as well. I know you guys also have some new products out as well. I saw the Citadel card wallet, and I think that's a really cool idea. What inspired that?
Yeah, the card kind of came out of nowhere. During the development of the hardware wallet, we had to deal with secure elements, try to do a lot of research on secure elements, try to understand how they're used and what applications, because these are not chips developed for crypto industry. These
Sure.
have been around for a long time, and crypto industry, because there's a lot of security aspects to crypto, and you need to securely and carefully manage your keys and sign transactions. Those secure elements have ported over to our industry, but they're not new chips. So when we were looking into different technologies, different manufacturers, different types of secure elements, we realized that even the credit card chips, that the most recent update, remember before the credit cards, you would just swipe it, there was no chip on it. And then because of security reasons, security concerns, they added that extra chip, which is actually a secure element. So when we're doing all this research, we realized that if since we're developing a lot of this stuff for the hardware wallet secure element, why don't we also take that developed software and apply it to the card as well, and develop a card on the side that can maybe for some use cases, payments, ease of carrying it around with
Definitely.
you for daily simple transactions, You could use something like a card and remove your private keys from your mobile device. So your account keys are not stored in the mobile device, which is online all the time. And you remove that from the phone. And only whenever you need to sign transactions, just tap it in the back of the phone and sign those Hedera transactions and other network transactions as well.
So you're
So
telling
what
me
we're trying to, yeah,
telling me I can
what
have a wallet inside of a wallet.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
incredible.
But the card wallet specifically, I don't think I have said this before, but it will be big news for your listeners. That one is going to be multi-chain. So the card wallet will be
Nice.
multi-chain. We'll try to support as many chains as possible, and we'll have open SDKs for any existing wallets out there to easily pair with the card wallet, with Hedera being the primary focus. So we'll make sure that all of Hedera services are supported with the card wallet, and then we'll also incorporate other networks and other network services as we move forward. But from the current developments that we're looking at, we have listed 25 networks, that primary layer one networks that we're going to support.
That's
So
cool.
that's another exciting development that's coming along.
Will the holders of Guardians of Citadel have any perks towards these, or how will that play out?
Yeah, definitely getting big discounts. Actually, some community members asked because they have bought multiple nights and they
Yeah.
don't really need multiple hardware wallets. They might get two or three to have backups, but some people qualify for 10 hardware wallets. And we don't really need all these hardware wallets. Can we claim the card wallet? And but the card wallet is much cheaper. It's going to be a much cheaper product than the hardware wallet itself.
Less
So
sophisticated.
why not allow people to, instead of claiming one hardware wallet, to claim five card wallets? So the price, the value they get from what they claim is equal. So that's one thing we can offer to night holders. And of course, there is going to be huge discounts for night holders, up to 30%. And like I said, card wallets are much cheaper, but if you get 30% discount on top of that, it really brings the price down.
Yeah, definitely. And I know one of the nights that you could purchase, it gave you the option to be able to obtain 4 Citadel hardware wallets. Is that correct? That was the highest
Uh,
tier? That was the tree
Three.
one.
Yeah, Nature Night is the one that comes with the most wallets, and it's a pack of three
3.
wallets.
Okay, I thought yeah, I thought it was either 3 or 4. I couldn't remember exactly what, but that's cool
Yeah,
because now
some
you
people
have
have
one extra
multiple.
backup and that card if you wanted that as an option.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So how was
And
help Okay,
there's
yeah, go ahead
another
into that
product.
another product. I totally didn't know. I'd love to know more.
There's another product that's coming out very soon. I can't say much about that one yet, but in the white paper, we'll give a hint to it. But people will get discounts. People who own the nights will get discounts for that product as well. And we'll do the same for any product in the future. If we have new products coming out down the line, people with nights will have discounts for them.
Nice. I know we over here at the Alt Kings, we have one of each night, so we're looking forward to all the progress that comes out with any development coming from Citadel. I know you went to Hello Future Live. How was that event? I totally missed out and definitely wish I was there.
But it would be great if you could make it. It
Yeah.
was definitely a very special event. That was the very first, second time that I went out there, kind of a conference environment. Even though this wasn't really a conference, it was a smaller gathering in Hedera community specifically. So it was a very special feeling. It was, most of the people were from the community. We already knew each other, even though we didn't know the faces.
Yeah.
So it was really great to start talking to people, and they're like, "Hey, I'm behind this account on Twitter. I'm behind this account. I'm in charge of this NFT project." And all of a sudden, you feel this connection with these people who you've seen around for a long time, but you never got a chance to meet them in person. And just talking to people and seeing how excited they are about everything that's going on in their ecosystem and the products and projects that they are building themselves to contribute to the ecosystem and build something great for themselves. It was just a very special feeling and a special event, especially having Lehman and Mans visiting the event. That was
That's huge.
another great. I got a chance to show the hardware wallet to Mance and Lehman. I had taken the hardware wallet samples with me, and I showed them how it works, how you can create an account. They were very pleasantly surprised and excited for what's to come next for this device. Yeah, overall, it was great, great time learning more about people in the community and projects, what they're building. It was a lot of fun.
I bet. It looks so much fun and it makes everything feel a lot more surreal and genuine when you're able to meet your own very own holders, but as well as H barbarians in the community who engage and support with everybody else's content as well. And it just yeah, it's just really genuine in my eyes. And I definitely want to make the next event that comes out. I'd love to host my very own as well in like the springtime of next year and somewhere in the East Coast. I think that'd be a cool idea as well.
Why not? Why
Yeah.
not? However many H barbarians show up, we'll
It'll
just
be
have
a
a good
fun time
time. And
regardless.
yeah,
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 all you need
yeah.
is 2 or 3. I remember when I was living down in Orlando, the ruler and a couple other guys lived down there, and we went out and got a couple drinks a couple times, and it's just a handful of guys just kicking back, and it's just like any other boys you'd be hanging out with. And everybody in this
Yeah,
space just feels like a
mhm.
friend to me, and it's nice because we all have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
same sort of forward thinking and mentality on very common
No,
interests.
I completely agree. Especially, I cannot talk about this crypto stuff with my family, and a
Literally,
lot
it's
of my
impossible.
a lot of my friends don't get it. I still try to convince them and show them the light. But when you're talking to people who are already in it and see where this is headed and the revolutionary technology that Hedera is and its potential, uh, we can talk about everything in this ecosystem for hours
Yeah.
and know exactly what we're saying. So that's another special thing that comes with these kinds of events.
Definitely. I know Citadel is a new member of the USBIF. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's USB Implementers Forum organization. You mind dabbling into that? What made you want to be a member, a part of the USBIF? And what does it entail?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, to be able to sell a device that has a USB interface, you need to acquire this thing called USB vendor ID. So, every time you plug in your USB device into a computer, it's recognized as its own device. If you go to the settings, you will see this vendor ID is associated with this product. It's a requirement for any
Gotcha.
device that USB. Yeah. So it's not like we wanted to join or not.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just had no choice. We had to join the
Makes sense. That
USB.
brings a lot of clarity
Yeah.
to that. I was curious because it seemed very sophisticated and interesting, but I didn't necessarily know what it was, and it's nice to know.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not free.
Yeah.
Joining this kind of organizations, if I could delay things and not pay those fees to get that vendor ID for a while, because for a startup every amount of money spent counts. But I'm really glad we got through the process, went through the process, and got that vendor ID and became part of the organization. And we did the same for Bluetooth as well. Bluetooth has similar requirements, and we'll have some announcements on the Bluetooth side as well. I don't think this stuff really interests people. That's why I don't talk about
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
too much. Just the technical stuff that we need to take care of. The reason I post about this is to show people that there's a lot of other small things that we needed to be taken care of for developing a product like this. It's not just the software, it's not just the electronic board. There's other things that we need to be wary of if we want to eventually go to market the right way and have no issues and concerns or lawsuits coming our way. We need to take care of these steps as well.
Yeah.
So Bluetooth we joined the Bluetooth organization. We joined the USB IF organization. We also need to go through FC and CE testing for getting those certificates, which are primarily for devices that have wireless communication capabilities. This certification bodies want to make sure that the energy output of your wireless device is within the limits, expected limits. The bandwidth of the frequency is within the limits, so it doesn't interfere with other devices. Yeah, I could go into details, but probably
Of
too
course.
boring. But we need to get those certifications to be able to sell in US,
Yeah.
Canada,
They're very
Europe,
vital
Australia.
to your future. and people
Yeah,
need to know
we
that.
cannot go to market. Yeah, without those, we cannot go to market, and we're making sure we take care of those in parallel as well while we're working on the software.
Definitely. And also, before you go to market, you need to test things. And you've already mentioned it about the beta samples. And I'm curious to know, how's the rapport been regarding those samples, and how is people being able to test those samples? How have things been for them? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm already getting feedback from the people that we've been working with. We created a special group for beta testers. We
Nice.
have about 6 people there. And I also sent 2 wallets to some special people from the ecosystem. I cannot say yet. I'm looking forward to hearing back from them and their experiences as well. But from people that I have already heard back, they had very great experience of using the wallet. First, you need to set up the wallet, so there's a lot of interaction with the touchscreen. That's very seamless. I haven't heard anybody complain about that flow of using the wallet. And then the pairing process is another thing that people needed to try and see how seamless the pairing process is with Hashpack, which is the first software wallet that we are going to support. And then once everything is tested and ready to go, we'll integrate our with other software wallets as well, very well known in the ecosystem.
Nice.
But feedback has been great so far. There have been some minor things that users would like to change on the UI side, even like the packaging of
Sure.
the. I have the package of the Citadel wallet.
The
You can see on the
prototype
back side.
package.
Yeah, this is actually the final package.
Oh, nice. That looks incredible.
Yeah, yeah. These are some minor things that we had to also take care of. It doesn't take too much time, but it's very important to have a slick and professional looking
Kind of reminds me
packaging.
of Ledger in the size comparison.
Yeah, yeah. These are very common for any electronic device, mobile
The
phones, hardware
iPhones. Yeah.
wallets, similar. Yeah, and the wallet goes inside here. It's tight, so when you're shipping, the wallet doesn't wobble around. There's a
Smart.
protection around it, so that's another consideration we needed to have. But on the bottom side, you will have the manual and the cards for recording your
And a
mnemonic
charger, I
phrase.
assume.
Yeah, no, not charger, just the USB
Yeah,
cable.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I love
but yeah,
how you started
yes,
releasing. Actually, you go ahead first before I mention this. I know you had something
yeah.
to say.
The packaging is complete. I forgot what the question was, but yeah, you can go ahead.
Nice. It was more or less you already answered the question. I was just asking regarding the feedback to the people who are currently using it. But I love how you mentioned and you also have provided the wallet demo series, the videos that go along with the wallets and are able to help you step by step in guidance when it comes to setting up, when it comes to using the wallet itself. And it really makes it more accessible and more ease of use for people using the wallets themselves. And so I think that was a great starting point for how-to videos and teaching people how to
Yeah,
understand the technology better.
no, that was very important to me too. It's a brand new device. Just by writing instructions, it might get confusing. It's always better to have videos
Yeah.
with the wallet in your hand and going through it and explaining how things work. For this kind of a device, there is not much you're going to do on the wallet itself, especially having the touch screen and the buttons. It's going to be just a few steps to sign transactions after you set up the wallet and record your mnemonic phrase, every time you pair with something like Hashpack, it's just going to send the transaction, display the information about the transaction on the wallet, scroll down and approve or reject. That's as much as you're going to do with the wallet. But for people who are using it very first time, especially for people who have never used something like Ledger before,
Yep.
people who have used Ledger, they have some intuition already about the process of pairing and signing transactions. I wanted to make sure we have very easy, simple, not even too long, like a few minute long demo videos split into different parts to focus on certain features and capabilities of the wallet. And those have been very helpful for beta testers as well.
Nice. Definitely easy, super easy way to digest things. That's for sure. I
Yep.
know you had a big announcement about 2 days ago, and I'd love to start off referring to that announcement. What is Citadel IoT? Internet of Things, I assume that may be.
Mhm. Citadel IoT is basically a wider, larger ecosystem of secure IoT type embedded devices.
So like the
If you
card.
think, if you really, yeah, if you really think of the hardware wallet itself, it's an IoT device. It's a small device that has communication with your mobile phone or desktop computer that you can control and get some data feedback from. It falls into the category of IoT devices.
Makes
And
sense.
while developing all the fundamental technologies, electronics, and software for this device, I always had in the back of my mind that this can be way bigger than just a hardware wallet. The same technology can be implemented in other IoT solutions and devices that are in the future that might require to be DLT enabled to be able to benefit from the security, transparency, traceability, all those things that come with DLTs. Very slowly, companies and corporations and small startups will start to realize and start to utilize networks like Hedera because Hedera is fast and efficient and performant. If you have an IoT device and you want to submit messages to Hedera network, you want the cost to be very low because a lot of times that message might just include information about the temperature sensor, which you don't want to spend too much money to be able to submit it to the network, right? But for some applications, it might even save money because if you just need to submit the sensor data to the network, you might not even need to use a cloud. You can pull that data directly from Hedera network and use it on your application side to display it or analyze the data or process it. So you completely remove the need to even use the cloud in some instances, which is going to save you a lot of money for certain applications. And other applications, you can actually apply hybrid model where in this day and age, all of the devices are completely managed and monitored on the cloud side itself. You can actually divide that into two different stacks, two different segments. All of the data is flowing through Hedera. And if there's a need for use of the cloud, it will just partially manage the data, directly pulling the data from the Hedera network itself.
That's cool.
And that gives you the ability to audit the data on the cloud side too, if needed, because your data is not directly going into the cloud, where if things happen, your data is affected or corrupted, you don't have a way to validate that or prove that. Now you can always go back to the Hedera network and say, this is the order, this is the timestamp, this is the data
Everything.
itself. Yeah, you can always verify on the cloud side to make sure that the centralized cloud is not messing up with your data or something wrong is not happening on the cloud side that you don't even have a way to prove. So that's where the value of Hedera network comes in. You can have completely serverless IoT applications, data flowing from Hedera network to the applications directly, or hybrid models where you might have to use the cloud for some heavy processing of the data, but at the same time, you don't rely completely on the cloud side. All of your digital IDs for the devices are handled by Hedera network, stored on Hedera network, and you have verifiable proof of the timestamp and order of all the transactions and messages that are flowing through Hedera. That has been my vision for right from the beginning, I would say. I just wanted to focus more on the hardware wallet, develop that technology, and let that technology serve as a foundation to then branch out and start building other secure IoT devices for other industries and applications.
So cool. And you're so technical about this stuff and you're able to go so deep into it all. Sometimes it's a little hard to keep up with, but I get the gist of what you're trying to approach and
Yeah,
how to explain it. What about this gem token? How about that? Brand new to the space. What is the concept behind it? Where are you trying to take this? I know it's probably involving the Guardians of Citadel and as well as the Citadel LLC, but what about this gem token?
yeah. Gem token comes into play mostly on the IoT side. I was always thinking about the token and is there really a need for bringing in a token, especially when we had just the night collection, just for the NFTs and the rewards that people are going to collect or staking? Probably not worth coming up with your own token, because it's just an NFT project. It's very focused, very small scale.
Yeah.
Now, if you have an ecosystem of secure devices that may need to make payments to each other, communicate with each other, we'll have some IoT services available which devices can subscribe to. And to subscribe, they will need to use our native gem token. So there's actually a real need for a utility token like that in this ecosystem of secure IoT devices, making payments, submitting messages, subscribing to services, devices themselves, or the project that's trying to access certain services on Hedera network. Token will be of great use to be able to quantify your economy of devices and how much value overall you have created in that area. And then, of course, now we can bring in also the Night Collection, the NFT project, and provide utility to that project as well through Gem Token. Like I had mentioned before, people are going to get rewards from the wallet sales, and that can be handled through tokens in a much more closed ecosystem rather than just using Hbar tokens. It just helps the project to have its own value, to have its own economy, and be able to better track what the activities are on your project itself.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to have a lot of utilities for the gem token. I don't want to rush too much with the
Makes
launch of
sense.
the gem token. We'll probably launch it second half of next year when we start also developing IoT, additional IoT products and devices. Then it will make sense to start launching the gem token. But for now, I just wanted to announce it, that it's coming, get people excited, and also see the vision, long-term vision of where we're headed.
Nice. So I got a question now, and I think I know where this next part of this show is going to go. But is Minu Semi, is that regarding the manufacturing of the Citadel wallets?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I wouldn't think that you you would or anybody else would ask. So my new semi is a company that manufactures these IoT modules, which are just tiny modules that have the processor chip in them and have all kinds of different communication capabilities: Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, US wired communication. LoRa is a communication protocol that's for long distance, low bandwidth IoT devices,
Sure.
and even GPS for tracking the location. They have modules of all sizes, of all costs, of all performance levels, a lot of different interfaces, and we're going to utilize those for quickly developing IoT solutions. Our hardware wallet itself is completely designed by us. So for the hardware wallet itself, we're not using my new semis technologies. This is something that is custom built specifically for the hardware wallet, and that the good thing about that is that we can better track the supply chain aspects of this of the hardware wallet itself,
Sure.
because we can just directly buy the components rather than rely on a third party company that needs to provide a full module. And if they have delays on their side but the chips are available in the market, that's causing a lot of delays on our side as well. So
Makes
to
sense.
mitigate those risks, I intentionally, actually, that's a really good question. I intentionally decided to not go with a module, but go with bare bone components and design our own circuitry and go through all the testing processes. So we have more control on the size of the device side and also supply chain side. But for some applications in the future, who want to develop something really quickly, have prototypes, and then go to manufacturing, it might make a lot of sense to go with something that's already ready. It can improve, it can speed up the process a lot and make it more cost effective. And those for those use cases and applications, I think MyNewSemi can be of great service.
Nice. That's awesome to hear, and it makes sense. And it's really cool that you're going your own route with the wallet and production and creativity of it. I knew that you were the one to design everything from start to finish from our previous episode. I just was curious about how you're going to be able to ramp up the speed of production for the, I guess it'd be roughly 3,000 people waiting on wallets coming within the next few months ahead. Yeah,
Yep.
that basically explained everything, which is great to hear. What if actually you have something to say?
No, I just wanted to talk about the supply chain side of things.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Uh, we have actually already purchased about 3,000 components of the most, the ones that are most critical in terms of lead times. We already have, I actually have it in my,
That's awesome.
yeah, they're sitting in the garage. I have all the components bought and saved because I don't want to risk when the time comes, we need to go to manufacturing. I don't want to risk of not being able to procure those components from the vendors, and a lot of them go out of stock these days because of chip shortages, and lead times can get really ridiculous in some instances. That's why we have early on identified components that are the most critical for the wallet, and I actually purchased those components and I have them whenever we're ready to go to manufacturing.
Early bird
So
gets
that's
the
going to
worm.
yeah, supply chain risks.
Nice. So, what have been some of the biggest challenges that Citadel Wallet is facing currently as we speak? Would it be supply chain issues or would it be something else?
There's a lot of challenges for people who might not have the background and experience that I have in my electrical engineering industry. Actually, I work for a DoD contractor company, big company, Mercury Systems currently. And for applications, especially military focused or Navy focused, those are very critical in terms of supply chain and timelines. You need to make sure that you build those products on time. Otherwise, you might face a lot of different issues in terms of budget and in terms of delivery dates and things like that.
Yeah.
So going through all of this in my personal career, that has given me a lot of knowledge and experience in those areas. And for people who just were just jumping into building a hardware wallet and not considering those things or not having experienced those kinds of challenges before, it could become a nightmare. And that's the reason why I have ordered those parts long time ago, even though I could have saved those that money for software or other developments for now. But I know how critical getting those components are, and that's why I have decided to get those early on to mitigate that risk. In terms of other challenges, I would say electronics is basically completed. I don't see any challenges to come up with, and on that side of development, although we are just going to start the FCCC certification tests, which they need to make sure it's a safe device, it meets the requirements of the frequencies and energies that the device is emitting. That process might take a few weeks. I have done everything to make sure that we meet those requirements even before sending it to these third party companies for testing it. But some issues might come up there and we might need to make some changes. This is a standard process. I'm used to this. Again, if people don't have experience with this kind of stuff, they might panic what's going on. There's always a solution. You just need to go back and make changes, adjustments, make fixes, and come up with the next better version of the product that meets the requirements. So electronics, mechanical, those risks have been mitigated. We have the final versions of the designs ready. On the software side, and maybe 4 months ago, I would say there is still a lot of challenges, but at this stage, we have done so much work on the software development side that I would say the secure element was the most critical part to handle, and our software guys are pros at that already. They have done the research, they understand how exactly it works, and we're able to sign the Hedera transactions on the secure element side. And the microprocessor, Victor, who is one of the developers in our software team, he's just an expert at the specific microprocessor that we have chosen. He knows it top to bottom, everything about the processor.
It's amazing. You need
And
that.
zero concerns,
Yeah.
zero concerns on that side as well. The only challenges are in terms of delays. If there's delays, we need to just be transparent and open with the community. And like you mentioned before, I am trying to regularly provide updates and progress reports to the community. I haven't seen any project that goes that deep into opening up to the community all the internal and behind the scenes developments that are going on. But I'm so thankful to everybody who has contributed to the success of this project that I feel the need that I have to be very transparent and open about everything we've been building, all the progress we have made. So there is no concerns. If projects go quiet for a long time, you start wondering. They might be doing great things behind the scene, but you might start wondering what's going on. That's why I have tried to be maybe even over open, way more open than I should have been, but I have nothing really to hide. We're
Yeah.
doing our best to get
Transparency is
this.
key.
Yeah. And in this very short period of time, what we were able to achieve is just amazing to me. I mean, some big projects with millions of dollars in funding, it takes them more than a year to bring a single feature
Yeah.
to their product. But we have developed a full device, fully supporting Hedera services in the network a little more than during a little more than a year, which is just crazy to me.
You impress me every time I talk to you, Andy. I look forward to everything else that comes along with Citadel Wallet. Any closing statements or thoughts?
I'm just really excited for what we're building. I can see the excitement from the community side as well. For anyone who's interested in pre-ordering and to continue supporting the project, the wallet pre-orders are still live on Headstarter platform. But we are going to very soon announce an end date to the mint. So if anybody is interested, they want to participate, support the project, be part of the project, also collect this really cool and high quality nights, they can go on Headstarter and pre-order mint their nights and pre-order the devices. But in terms of developments, we are putting in all of the effort and energy, and at the same time spending the funds that we got from the community, raised from the community, very efficiently. Not a single dollar goes to waste, and we want to make sure that we get uh, at most value from those funds that we have raised. And looking forward to an exciting kind of, I can feel the bull run energy in the wider
Heat up.
Web3 ecosystem. Hopefully, the timelines of launching the wallet matches with that excitement, and we just ride the wave of also Hedera going mainstream.
I love the sound of closing off that mint sometime soon. That keeps the supply low and keeps my pockets high. That's for sure. Andy, thank you once again for the time or taking the time to join me on the Alt Kings podcast. If you weren't able to tune in to our previous episode, if you're tuning into this one, feel free to go check that out. Link will be down below. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Alt Kings podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you all next episode. Peace.
Bye, everyone.